Good evening and welcome to the Ghana Tv9 News Bulletin for Wednesday, September 24, 2025. I'm Colin Abrams. In the headlines tonight, President Ali and Secretary Rubio reaffirms U.S.-Ghana partnership. Ghana continues to place its trust in international law, President Ali tells the United Nations General Assembly. Government agencies collaborate to establish modern and sustainable landfills. TAG to work alongside government to rehabilitate and reintegrate cities' unhoused population. Major healthcare agreement signed with Northfield Health System to manage emergency medical services. Ghana remains open to welcoming you home, President Ali tells Guyanese in the diaspora. And Georgetown residents praise President Ali's beautification initiative. Now for the news in depth. His Excellency President Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali addressed the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly on Wednesday, where he highlighted the ongoing threats and acts of aggression faced by Guyana from Venezuela. Despite these repeated challenges, President Ali affirmed that Ghana continues to place its trust in international law and remains committed to peaceful and lawful resolutions. Today, in his address to the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York, President Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali firmly stated that Ghana will not be intimidated or cower in the face of ongoing threats and acts of aggression from Venezuela.
We have endured repeated threats and aggression from the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. The territorial controversy between our states is now before the International Court of Justice, which has twice reaffirmed its jurisdiction and which in 2023 issued provisional measures ordering Venezuela to refrain from altering the status quo. Yet, Venezuela persists with unilateral laws and threats of annexation, flagrantly violating international law, the UN Charter, and the very principles that sustain global order.
The head of state further emphasized that if the rights of any small state can be disregarded and legally binding international laws ignored, it raises a critical question: what protection then remains for any nation under international law?
Yet, Guyana continues to repose confidence in international law. For us, the principles of sovereignty, territorial integrity, and non-interference are non-negotiable. We will not cower to coercion, intimidation, or unilateral action. We thank our international partners and allies for their solidarity.
President Ali said the situation remains of utmost concern and reiterated Ghana's call for an end to the Russia-Ukraine war, while reaffirming support for Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Further, he called on the international community to act decisively in Haiti.
The international community must act decisively in Haiti, where gang violence, displacement, and shortages of food and medicine have pushed the nation into deepening despair. Restoring security is the foremost priority, requiring strict enforcement of the arms embargo and robust support for a UN-authorized mission. I emphasize that without urgent humanitarian funding and a Haitian-led and owned political process, stability will remain elusive. We must address the root causes of Haiti's continuing troubles.
From September 23 to 29, world leaders are gathering under the theme Better Together, 80 Years and More for Peace, Development and Human Rights. The debate marks a pivotal moment for nations to reflect on shared responsibilities. The annual assembly remains the premier platform for heads of state and government to confront urgent global challenges and push forward solutions that strengthen peace, security, and sustainable development. Colin Abrams, Ghana Tv9 News. As Georgetown prepares for major infrastructural upgrades under President Ali's city revival plan to rescue Georgetown, the Tourism and Hospitality Association has announced its commitment to advancing efforts to rehabilitate and reintegrate the city's unhoused population. Here's more. As part of the ongoing efforts to support the revitalization of the capital city, Mitra Ramkumar, president of the Tourism and Hospitality Association of Guyana TAG, stated that the association will over the next year focus on initiatives aimed at rehabilitating and reintegrating Georgetown's unhoused population.
The focus is to have a plan to be able to help the vulnerable. These are the homeless, mentally ill, drug addicts. So the focus is rehabilitation and then reintegration into society. Because if we continue along this way, this population is not going to grow, so we need to help them.
Ramkumar explained that the presence of the unhoused individuals in various parts of the capital has a negative impact on tour operators operating within Georgetown. He noted that their visible presence across the city often creates an unfavorable impression, which can affect the overall perception of the tourism experience. Ramkumar explained that these efforts cannot be left to the government alone.
Not only a government responsibility, it's all of us. So our energies are going to be focused and very targeted to be able to achieve the mandate that both of us have from the private sector perspective and the government perspective. So this is just one example of one area.
Upon assuming her new role as the Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, Minister Susan Rodriguez met on Monday with representatives of TAG to foster a collaborative working relationship and align strategic priorities for the sector. The TAG President, Mitra Ramkumar, praised President Ali for his plans to beautify the capital city, describing the initiative as a positive step for tourism development. Colin Abrams, Ghana TV9 News. The government of Ghana is taking action to overhaul the nation's waste management system by establishing modern, sustainable landfills in all 10 administrative regions. Ministers Priya Manikchan, Colin Cole, and Vanessa Bett are leading a coordinated interagency effort to safeguard public health, reduce pollution, and support growing communities. Beth Sandy has more in this report.
The government of Guyana has taken a major step towards strengthening the country's waste management systems with a high-level interagency meeting focused on establishing modern, sustainable landfill sites across all 10 administrative regions. The initiative aims to tackle growing challenges posed by population growth, housing expansion, and urban development, which have placed significant pressure on existing landfill facilities. Outdated disposal practices have long created risks to public health and the environment, underscoring the urgent need for modern, efficient infrastructure. The meeting brought together key government officials, including Minister of Local Government and Regional Development Priya Manichan, Minister of Housing Colin Crowell, and Minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water, Vanessa Ben. They were joined by Permanent Secretary Miguel Chu Kang and Deputy Permanent Secretary Dr. Josh Kanai, CEO of the Guyana Lands and Survey Commission, Enrique Moniz. Together, they reviewed current landfill practices, identified challenges, and began planning for new sites that meet both population needs and environmental standards. Discussions centered on identifying suitable locations for the landfills with considerations such as population density, land availability, accessibility, and long-term sustainability. The ministers emphasized that modern landfills go beyond simple waste disposal, serving as a cornerstone for public health, natural resource protection, and community well-being. Minister Manichan called for urgent and full interagency cooperation. Minister Cole linked the initiative to the country's housing expansion, and Minister Ben stressed that shared responsibility is key to ensuring landfill development is comprehensive and sustainable. The government's next steps will focus on technical assessments and wide stakeholder consultations to modernize waste management systems across all 10 regions. At the Hogsbotch landfill, which has faced years of complaints from residents in Eccles, Prospect, and Windsor about smoke and foul odors, waste volumes have surged from 400 to 1,200 tons daily, with trucks rising from 100 to nearly 400 per day. Minister Manichan, during your recent visit, highlighted the risk to nearby communities. She noted that swift interventions are required.
In some of these landfill sites, we have some arising issues that have to be dealt with. I know the residents of Eccles and Prospect and Windsor and so on have complained about a scent and smoke, and we're trying to manage that. I've had a meeting with the engineers and the management of this landfill site. Some of the issues are with the development that's happening in Guyana, we've moved from 400 tons per day to 1,200 tons per day. We've moved from about 100 trucks dumping here to 300 to 400 trucks dumping here. So we have to now increase our capacity of management. I'm going to be working very closely with the First Lady, who has done an amazing job beautifying different villages and communities in Guyana. And we're going to be doing that. But we are also going to be looking at solid waste management in NDCs and in smaller villages as well as in a large way in regions. So
Faith Sandy, Guyana TV9 News.
Thank you, Faith. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio met with President Ali in New York on the margins of the 80th United Nations General Assembly, where both leaders underscored the strength of the U.S.-Ghana partnership. Their discussions centered on advancing security, expanding economic opportunities, and promoting sustainable stability across the region. Secretary Rubio congratulated President Ali on his re-election and highlighted the importance of continued collaboration in joint security and economic initiatives. He commended Ghana's support for the UN Support Office in Haiti and its backing of the newly established gag suppression force, signaling the country's growing role in regional security. The secretary also reaffirmed Washington's commitment to Ghana's territorial integrity and pledged closer cooperation with the Ghana Defense Force. This includes strengthening counter-narcotics operations and enhancing broader bilateral efforts to address shared security challenges. President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali has urged Guyanese living abroad to seize the opportunity created by the nation's rapid economic growth and ongoing transformation. Speaking at a diaspora engagement in New York on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly, President Ali stressed that Ghana is no longer defined by its struggles, but by the vast potential unfolding through oil production, infrastructure expansion, education reform, and improved healthcare. Details in this report. President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali is currently in New York to attend the United Nations General Assembly, but on Tuesday evening engaged in a meet and greet with Guyanese in the diaspora. The president addressing the gathering highlighted to the many Guyanese living overseas the massive and rapid transformation and development the country has undergone. According to President Ali, not only is Ghana the fastest growing economy in the world, but a leader in climate change, energy security, and food security.
I assure you, the Guyana that we are building will be the world leader on climate change. It will be a world leader on food security. It will be a world leader on energy security. It will be among the best countries in a knowledge economy, innovation, entrepreneurship. It will be a country that is driven on a technological backbone like you've never seen before. It's a country that's embracing AI for rapid transformation. It is a country that we want to be among the best in tourism. But the only way we can ensure these things happen is if we are the best citizens for our country. As if we are the best lovers of our country.
President Ali assured the gathering that Ghana remains open and welcoming, whether they wish to return home or explore the growing range of investment opportunities. He noted that the country's healthcare system has made significant strides and is now comparable to that of the United States, and even greater transformation is on the horizon. He said his government will be encouraging investment for persons in the diaspora and urged Guyanese overseas to make full use of the opportunities.
Inauguration, I made a promise. We recognize the vast potential of our Guyanese diaspora to be partners in the transformation of our nation. And we intend to keep that promise. How? By keeping you informed, by encouraging and supporting your investments, by creating avenues for you to participate in key sectors by tapping into your expertise, your capital, your network, by ensuring regular outreach, and by the modernization of our diaspora unit so that it does exactly what it was intended to do. Be the bridge, the vehicle that connects you directly to the transformation sweeping across Guyana.
The head of state encouraged members of the diaspora to return home and experience Guyana from a completely new perspective. He described the ongoing progress as development happening in real time, underscoring the rapid and visible changes taking place across the country.
And it is visible, it is tangible, and it is undeniable. For those who left a long time ago, the Guyana of today is not the Guyana of yesterday. We are no longer the land that people run from. We are now the land that people are running toward. Tonight, as I walked towards President Trump, he looked at me and he said, "You are from the great country, Guyana." Every single person in the room know who we are today.
Dr. Ali concluded his address with a strong call for inclusivity and unity, emphasizing that national development must uplift all segments of society, particularly women, youth, and the elderly. He highlighted several key measures already underway, including increased pensions, expanded opportunities for women, access to free education, and targeted support for indigenous communities. Colin Abrams, Ghana TV9 News. Guyana's Foreign Minister Hugh Todd is calling for an immediate ceasefire in Ukraine. Speaking at the United Nations Security Council meeting this week, Minister Todd condemned ongoing violations of international law and called for the full withdrawal of Russian troops.
At the United Nations Security Council meeting in New York, Ghana's Foreign Affairs Minister Hugh Todd took a firm stand commending what he called repeated violation of international law and urging an end to the war in Ukraine.
We therefore join the international community in reaffirming the purposes and principles of the United Nations Charter and call for an immediate end to the conflict and attendant violations of international law.
Minister Todd highlighted the human cost of the conflict, saying civilians in both Ukraine and Russia have been placed at the mercy of combatants, facing airstrikes, blocked humanitarian aid, and even the abduction of children.
The search for a solution continues. We, the members of the Security Council, must be concerned with the repeated and persistent violations of international law that are taking place. Violations that have placed civilians in Ukraine and Russia squarely at the mercy of combatants. The protections granted to them under international humanitarian law have been stripped away, and they have become victims of deliberate targeting. Their safety and security are imperiled and their vulnerability exploited for military advantage. Moreover, by abducting children, blocking access to humanitarian aid, and attacking critical civilian infrastructure, the damage wrought on civilian lives continues to magnify.
Minister Todd highlighted that Guyana is once again taking a firm stand, condemning violations of international law and demanding that all parties respect humanitarian principles. The government is calling for the complete withdrawal of Russia forces from Ukraine's internationally recognized borders, saying it's the only way to end the suffering and uphold the rule of the law.
As we have stated in previous occasions, every member state has a legal obligation to uphold the provisions of the United Nations Charter and to respect the territorial integrity of other states. Guyana calls for an end to the ongoing violations, which risk igniting a broader regional conflict. We have said this many times. Attempts to resolve a conflict through military escalation will only exacerbate the situation and make a peaceful resolution more difficult.
Minister Todd ended his address by calling on the international community to act with urgency, warning that without political will, the path to peace in Ukraine will only grow longer and more difficult. Guyana has been echoing these sentiments through Ambassador Caroline Rodriguez Burkhead, permanent representative of Guyana to the United Nations, who recently spoke on behalf of the Caribbean Community, CARICOM, which backed the African Union Committee of 10 calls for urgent UN Security Council reform. Adana Dora, Ghana TV9 News.
The government of Ghana has signaled a major healthcare agreement with US-based Northwell Healthcare System. President Ali made the announcement on Tuesday evening while addressing Guyanese in the diaspora in New York. Here's more.
At the meet and greet while addressing the Guyanese diaspora, President Ali announced that Guyana has signed a major healthcare agreement with US-based Northwell Health. Under the new partnership, Northwell Health will help manage and improve Guyana's emergency medical services, aiming to rise the standard of care across the country.
Only today, we signed another agreement with Northwell, who will be implementing our emergency medical services in Guyana. And they will be managing that service whilst we build the capacity over the next 3 years.
President Ali underscored his administration's pledge recommitting to the development of a world-class healthcare system in Guyana.
We're building 12 new state-of-the-art hospitals. We've already commissioned regional hospitals in Berbice, Essequibo, East Coast, East Bank, and West Demerara. And we're upgrading facilities across all 10 regions of Guyana. No Guyanese, whether at home or visiting, should ever have to question the quality of health care they receive.
The collaboration strategic focus was recently underscored when Guyanese President Irfan Ali met with Northwell Health team led by Dr. Eric Chow Pena, Vice President of the Center of Global Health. The discussion centered on two major future developments: the implementation of National Emergency Medicine Authority to standardize and improve urgent care, and to plan a partner with ExxonMobil to establish a science, technology, engineering, and mathematics STEM center in Guyana. The multifaceted partnership highlights a shared commitment not only to immediate medical improvements, but also to developing long term institutional and educational capacity within Guyana. Adana Dorek, Guyana TV9 News.
And finally, tonight's newscast. Georgetown is getting a major makeover and its residents are excited about the city's upcoming transformation. The initiative to beautify and restore the capital is the brainchild of President Ali. The project promises greener spaces, upgraded landmarks, and a major boost for tourism and community life. More in this Faith Sunday report.
President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali has unveiled an ambitious city revival and beautification plan to rescue Georgetown and transform it into one of the finest capitals in the world. The initiative, supported by the King's Foundation and anchored in the Low Carbon Development Strategy 2030, focuses on creating cleaner, greener, and more sustainable spaces while celebrating Guyana's history, heritage, and culture. Key projects include the Stabroek waterfront development, enhancement of historic landmarks such as the Old Transport Building, creation of recreational and biodiversity friendly spaces, the Lamaha Railway Embankment History Walk, and the revitalization of markets, canals, and public areas. The plan also emphasizes improved infrastructure, housing, green corridors, waste management, and sustainable transport, with the overall goal of restoring Georgetown's image and identity while improving the quality of life for its citizens. Residents of the city have expressed strong support for the beautification initiative, highlighting both its potential and current improvements.
I think it's a wonderful initiative that the government is doing to revive Guyana, to expand our travel market and the botanical gardens. And I think it can create a safe and bigger environment for people within Guyana and to also promote tourism around Guyana.
I think it's about time that this happened. Even though I know that I have friends who sell at the market and who sell around America Street, and they're very concerned because they've been asking me, they know that I'm associated with the government. So they've been asking me like, what gonna happen to us, right? I think it's a good initiative and we need this to happen because Guyana is about development. It's all about, us going to another level, right? And if we want this development, we gotta be willing to accept change. So, but I don't think that this government is gonna just abandon the people and leave them alone. I think they're gonna put systems in place whereby the sellers can have somewhere else to do their vending. right? Because this government is about people. It's one Guyana we're talking about. And I'm telling you, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, the government is not going to just tell them, look, you got to move. But the problem is that sometimes people are comfortable where they are with everybody. So we want our country to develop. We want tourists to come. But okay, what we can do? We want tourists to come to our country, and we got to fix this situation. And the government is going to put systems in place so that people can be able to still do their vending and make a livelihood.
In my opinion, yeah, President saying that he wants to revitalize Guyana. That's something that needs to be done. For example, Stavro, that is that needs revamping. They're falling apart. Last time I was there, I think one of the stall, one of the studies at Hello. I remember it's just not looking good for foreigners to come in our program. Stavro is supposed to be a big thing to come there.
Well, it's a good idea, and so far they're doing a very good job. Yeah, I like what they do with the national park, with the exercising machine, the fun park for the children. Them place them more clean. It's very good. It's nice, but you need some seating.
Hi, my name is Zidan Ray. The way I feel is that there got a lot of things to be done all around the country. A lot of trash everywhere. It's a real good initiative. It's about time it's been done.
Hey, good afternoon, citizens of Guyana. My name's Owen Marks, and it's a good initiative that President Ali is about to restore the beauty of Georgetown, and it will help boost our tourism industry, and citizens will feel some sense of security in this process.
Faith Sandy, Guyana TV9 News.
Thank you, Faith. And that's all for tonight's news bulletin. I'm Colin Abrams. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.